we're going to talk about how Vechain, XRP, Hedera, how their partnerships and so-called utility will never really affect price. Now, some of you would definitely vehemently disagree with this, but all the evidence right now points to what I'm saying. And it's not like I've been waiting on this for like 2 weeks. I've been waiting on this for like 4 or 5 years. And 5 years is actually not a small amount of time to wait on something like an ROI or, for a utility to actually kick in or for a use case to actually kick in. 5 years is pretty much the average time for a VC before they expect some kind of ROI. Now, in the last 5 years, Hedera and Vechain have given me the chance for ROI. Didn't really sell out on time. I didn't really have any Hedera, but I didn't sell Vechain out on time. But still, that wasn't due to their utility or adoption in the industrial use case. That was just purely due to speculation, obviously. XRP, because of the lawsuit, hasn't really given you that chance. But it's kind of in the same bucket as the other two, because these three cryptos do actually all have adoption by big companies. Whether it's Walmart China, whether it's DNVGL, Deloitte, all those other things, all of them have actually adoption. You actually saw it in the blockchain, whether during the onboarding period or continuously. But none of the prices have actually been affected. When Vechain came in with Walmart China and they had a lot of transactions the first couple of weeks, it was not affected. And even after that first couple of weeks died down, they had more transactions steady going out, and it wasn't actually very affected at all. When some projects like Safe Haven came onto VET, that provided more transactions, but VET price did not actually go up. Also, with DNVGL, with the Deloitte stuff, they specifically said they adopted Vechain for a lot of their contractual stuff. Also with tracking for fish and stuff like that. We saw the transactions on the blockchain and a lot of the food provenance. We've actually saw the transactions on the blockchain. We saw the use case, but price didn't go up. And really the only thing that got price to go up was a bunch of hype news that pumped and eventually dumped. So the thing is, for Vechain, it's fairly easy to see that the utility really hasn't impacted price that much, if at all. And the thing is, a couple of years ago, they cut the amount of gas needed by 99%. Now, think about this. The price wasn't being forced up when the gas was at full. Now it's only at 1%. How long do you think it's going to be before utility ever affects price? When it was at 100%, 100 times what it is now, the utility didn't even affect price. And it wasn't really that close. They were maybe 5% of the way there. And they only reduced it by 99% because people speculated on VETHO, not because VETHO was getting rare or anything. And the thing is, the times that the transactions really went up was when the bull market was running, not really when these adoptions were actually going on. That's when the price was actually rising. So the TPS doesn't really seem to matter all that much for Vechain. How many transactions don't really seem to matter that much for Vechain. It's all about the speculation and hopefully for their DeFi ecosystem when they actually come up. Now let's actually look at HBAR. HBAR is in the same bucket as Vechain. They have Avery Dennison and a couple of other partnerships that have actually come on board. And if you actually look at HBAR, you have essentially the Hedera mainnet at 485 TPS, and the price is still 5 cents. It hasn't really gone up when it went up from no TPS to over 500 TPS, and they actually had a period of time when they were over 1,000 TPS, and guess what? The price still stayed the exact same. It did not go up. When it pumped was when the news first came out and people got hyped into it. Also, when one of their big partnerships announcements came out with FedNow, which didn't really result in a jump in TPS or actual utility, but the hype resulted in a price increase. But then it just came back down for Hedera. So despite 500 TPS, it doesn't really do all that much for the price. And I don't think, even if this was 5,000 TPS, I don't think it would really do anything. The price seems to be only riding on hype, basically. Same thing with VET. Now, to give you kind of a comparison note, Visa during regular hours is only 2,000 TPS. Now, at peak hours, it's 20,000. And Visa probably transacts more value across the world than almost like any other company, being like a massive credit card company, the biggest in the world, in fact. So at 1,000 TPS, you were about half of Visa. If you're not freaking half of Visa and your price still isn't going up, you're gonna find it very, very hard to convince me that at any TPS, you're really going to affect price. Now, the gas fee for Hedera is stable. It doesn't actually scale with the coin, and that's good. But I don't think that's ever really going to affect price unless you get locked in value TVL via DeFi. I really don't think HBAR will actually scale. Now, let's get this straight. Like the foundation and the board members or like the controlling members might actually be making money by the adoption. But owning HBAR, just like owning any other crypto, does not give you a share of the company or the association's profits if they have any profits. So while they might be profiting, you're left out in the cold in terms of those profits, and you're waiting for HBAR itself to actually go up, which may not be guaranteed despite how much adoption they get. And a lot of the founders hold a lot of HBAR. So to them, it doesn't really matter because if you hold several hundred million or several billion HBAR, you have millions of dollars regardless of what price it is right now. You could actually sell it right now and you'd have tens of millions of dollars. So to them, it might not matter for much, but we don't really have that option. And if you're really waiting for HBAR to go up because of utility, good luck. You're probably in for a very long wait because like once that initial thing came out, you had 500 TPS, 1,000 TPS, and price didn't even budge. That should have given you a clue that the utility and the transactions aren't going to be the driver of value right there. And it's soared much higher than 500. It's actually gone over 1,000 multiple times, but it has no effect on the price. And like I said, Visa, one of the largest companies in the world, only 2,000 TPS. If you're at half of that and you're not actually getting value for your coin, yeah, I don't think it's ever really going to affect it because there's a limit. I don't think you're really going to use consistently 10, 20, 30,000 TPS, even if all your partnerships actually come online. Because not all partners give you the same kind of TPS. Avery Dennison was the first one. That was like a big, big jump for HBAR. But the other ones that have come on afterwards haven't really jumped TPS nearly as much. And as you can see, we're still at like 540. We're slightly above where Avery Dennison was, but not significantly. So even if you get a lot of partnerships on board, I really, really don't think that it's going to affect price that much. Sorry, HBAR believers. I still believe your DeFi ecosystem has a lot of opportunity. HBAR is still one of my favorite coins, and I do believe that HBAR still has a lot of potential. But if you're waiting for utility to kick up the price, all the evidence points to it's not going to happen. And the last one, obviously, is going to be XRP. Now, this one's been kind of like a running joke the longest. It should be more than obvious by now that the partnerships don't matter for XRP. And the thing is, like, some people be like, it's because of the lawsuit. Well, unfortunately for you, the Ripple CEO has actually said that most of the development has been outside the United States, and their XRP ODL adoption has increased like hundreds of % quarter over quarter, and that like it's pretty much 100 or 1,000 times more popular than it was a couple of years ago. Great. Let's just take him at his word and just don't assume he's exaggerating things or lying. Okay? It's like 500 times what it was. What's the effect on price? Absolutely nothing. And there is a limit on the remittance market, which is XRP's primary market. Because a lot of the major corridors, they're already using Swift or another solution that doesn't use crypto at all, and it's working fine for them. So you're basically going to be fighting for those like less liquid corridors. Now, luckily for you, there isn't really that many other people fighting. Yes, there's XLM, but I don't really think they're going to be much of a threat to XRP, even in those corridors. So the thing is, you've taken over quite a bit of the market in terms of that, and the price really hasn't budged an inch from your utility. It's all still hype and speculation. And yeah, there's hype and speculation about the derivatives market because XRP got on that board, but they were on the FATF board, they were on the FedNow board, and none of those actually ended up using XRP for anything. So those things are more like advisory boards. They don't really guarantee you to any extent that like any of those applications are actually going to use your product. And I kind of expect the same thing for the derivatives board as the results have actually shown before. And the other thing is that yes, the lawsuit has suppressed price in the United States, but the lawsuit ended a while ago. and you're still at 50 cents. And yeah, the mass adoption and banks coming in didn't really happen, and it doesn't look like it has really any chance of happening anytime soon. Also, like many of you are like, would Ripple really spend what's now $200 million to actually defend themselves if they were actually only looking at 50 cents for XRP? And the answer is yes, because the idea that XRP serves as a bridge currency between two foreign exchange pairs, here it is. Ripple made $2.7 billion of profit from ODL-related sales of XRP in fiscal 2021 and 2022, according to their own quarterly updates that the private company publishes on its website. So yes, even though the bills are getting up to about 200 million, they made $2.7 billion from it. So, and in 2021 and 2022, especially for a lot of 2022, it was actually even less than 50 cents. So the fact that they actually made like more than 10 times than what they're spending defending just in those 2 years alone, and they still have the vast majority of their XRP escrow, just goes to show you how much money that escrow is actually worth to them and how much of a cash cow it is worth to them. So yes, to answer your question, it is absolutely worth it for them to defend XRP at this price. It's worth it for them to defend XRP at 10 cents, because that'd still be significantly more than $200 million. And in the other interview, says, is ODL the leading product? Yes, one former employee told Forbes. ODL, there's your product revenue right there, said another. And then the other question, is Ripple's software business on its own profitable, like just the software? And the guy said, probably not, said a third. But in terms of selling XRP, they're massively profitable. All these employees asked to remain anonymous, citing non-disclosure agreements. So obviously they don't want to be outed. But the thing is, like, it seems like many on the inside have actually kind of admitted that that the software itself is not profitable. They have to sell ODL to actually make it profitable. And that coincides with their $2.7 billion in profit from XRP sales in 2021 and 2022. And most likely, if you actually look at their report, that's the bulk of their income in 2021 and 2022. So yes, they are dumping billions of dollars on you for their own benefit. And remember, let's not forget, Garlinghouse and Larson also have billions of dollars in XRP themselves that they want to dump as well, and they're consistently selling, because all these big holders do actually sell from one time to another. So the thing is, like, Ripple's revenue depends heavily on XRP sales. That's kind of like the bulk of their business right now. So they don't really have any choice but to defend it. It's worth a lot more than what they're spending on lawyers, even at its current price. And here's the thing. Here's the thing, like, that people don't understand. These founders, these executives, they have billions of this stuff. They have the majority of the supply, the company and the executives. So they don't actually need the coin to go up to make a lot of money. You're the one that needs the coin to go up. And remember, holding XRP or HBAR or Vechain does not give you a share in the company, in the foundation. Their profits are not yours. If someone else pays the company to use their software, you don't see that profit. It's not the coin that sees that profit. It's the company that sees the profit on their bottom line. It benefits them, but it doesn't benefit you. Now, some of you are preaching, especially on the XRP side, patience. But the thing is, like, patience, I have patience in crypto. I have about 4 years worth of patience, and that's plenty of patience in crypto, because that is one cycle. After 4 years, that patience starts to wear a little thin. You can't just have 5 or 6 years and then be like, oh, it hasn't grown yet. Still patience. How much patience do you want me to have? 10 years, 20 years? Infinity plus 2 weeks? That's not really going to work. I can have a couple of years worth of patience. But especially when your entire community's constantly spouting out moon theories for the last 5 years and it hasn't moved 1 inch because of these so-called partnerships, there's a very, very good reason to doubt. Especially when other coins have actually moved up in that time, and it's because of DeFi and stuff that your protocol doesn't actually have. Same thing with HBAR. If you're going to be telling me that the TPS is going to bring value, when you have 1,000 TPS consistently or 500 TPS and you don't have the value, I'm going to be able to question. Same thing with Vechain, talking about the partnerships. Yes, they're big. Yes, I see the use case. Yes, they are using it, but there's no tangible benefit from us. So all these three examples, plus the others, should solidly lead people to believe in that these partnerships, that the industrial adoption is never going to actually make a difference to the price. We have Jack the Rippler constantly going like, boom, this, boom, that. Well, guess what? Boom, it's still 50 cents. When the hell is it not going to be 50 cents? The thing is these executives are making hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars selling your coin. When are we going to see any of that? Them dumping actually hurts us. It does not help us. It actually hurts us. The company doing well is not reflected on the coin. And right here, most of the company's revenues comes from selling the coin. That is not good for us, man. That is them making money at our cost. And the thing is, some people might be like, oh, they're just building out the ecosystem. Sure, but how long is that going to take? Humans don't live forever. The crypto market is a fast-moving market. 4 or 5 years is a lot of time in the crypto market. And it's not like the rest of the technological sector's been stagnant. Swift has made Swift Go, Swift Instant. There are a ton of products out there that do instant settlement cross-border that have actually run pilots and have been tested with stablecoins. You are kind of losing out. And these are not just in the United States where the SEC has been basically cock-blocking people. These are overseas where they haven't been cock-blocking people. So the thing is you're kind of losing out on that edge as well. And despite so much adoption as it's been touted, the price has not increased. But you know what you should be looking for? You know what has increased price? DeFi, TVL, and app development on chain that actually process transactions. And these are and you know what's a common thing about these three blockchains? They don't really have much of that. These three have been focused on a lot of industrial utility, and it has not, I repeat, it has not gotten their coin investors anything. Now, I'm not going to say it hasn't gotten their actual company investors anything. They might be actually flowing rich. I don't really know. But their coin investors have not made anything because owning the coin does not mean you get a share of the foundation or company. And that needs to be beat through everyone's head over and over again. I know I've done a couple of videos doing this, but I'm going to actually keep doing this until people actually understand or until I see some kind of result from all this adoption and partnerships. Because while they are nice to look at, it's not us that's going to benefit. And it's not like we've been only waiting for 2 weeks. We've been waiting for several years. So that's why I'm so pushing for all these ecosystems to actually develop their ecosystem and develop their DeFi, because that's where the value is for us. It's not in the industrial partnerships. All this XRP hype, it's never going to amount to anything. They've been shilling this garbage for 5 years. And yes, the lawsuit's been consuming about 2 years of it, but there's still the other 3 years where it actually hasn't, or 2.5 years where it hasn't consumed it. And they themselves have actually said they've seen massive growth overseas. Where's the value in that for the token holders? And I'm asking that for a lot of projects as well. The thing is, I used to think DeFi was just a gimmick, but now I do actually see that's the primary source of value for crypto investors. And I also see that's the primary source, the primary reason why crypto was even invented in the first place, to have a decentralized financial system. And that's what DeFi is. Yes, DeFi is rife with scams. I'm not going to deny that. But it is a new industry that's emerging, and it is going to be one of the main industries of crypto. So if your coin's not in it, you are really, really missing out. And don't tell me would they do it for would they be here for 50 cent XRP? Of course they would be. They literally just made $2.7 billion the last 2 years selling 50 cent XRP. You be in it too for $2.7 billion, but they are different from you because they have hundreds of millions, if not billions of coins. You don't have that. You can't you can't really depend on the same thing they do. You can't dump your $2 billion bag and walk away with $2 billion. You don't have that bag. So the thing is it's pretty obvious that some of these, a lot of these companies, not just XRP, Vechain, or HBAR, are actually using us as exit liquidity. They're basically promoting it on social media as these partnerships will actually get us something. But what they want us to do is buy the coin, pump the price up so they can keep selling and funding their own company or funding their own pockets. And that should be more than obvious to us by now after 5 years. Now, it's not like these coins are scams. I do actually think they're legitimate products. projects and legitimate companies, but the companies are taking advantage of their investors. And yes, I do think they'll go up in a bull run, of course. But the thing is, like this utility, this industrial utility, industrial adoption is not what we should be focusing on. It is not what we should be basing our buys of the coin on. It should be the growth of their TVL. It should be the growth of their ecosystem. So that's what I have to say for today. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button, and I will see you guys next time.